Hello. Morning. It's always morning, isn't it, where I film? I'm in Suffolk today, and I'm here to look at this wonderful heavy anti-aircraft battery, and it's not much is left, but what does remain is an important piece of World War II history for Suffolk. So without further ado, let's go and explore it. And what a beautiful morning. Look at this. Wow. Come on, let's go. Lying in the East Suffolk countryside of Lound lies an almost perfectly preserved piece of World War II history, that of a heavy anti-aircraft battery designated LH-1. It was armed with four 3.7-inch static guns with a GL Mark II radar in 1942, when it was manned by the 332 battery of the 106th Royal Artillery Regiment, and it was retained as an off-site nucleus force battery in 1946 for potential use of defence during the Cold War. The layout is that of four emplacements placed in a semicircle, with the command post placed just behind it. Now used as storage, this gun battery's fate remains uncertain, but for now at least this can be a perfect record for Suffolk's World War II defensive history. Hello, so welcome, oh blimey, to the former remains of Ashby Dell's heavy anti-aircraft battery. And the first thing that you discover is that really it definitely looks better from up above, and it's a shame because when you look at it in the scheme of things, this at one point would have been a very active place. So let me put stuff into context for you. So this is one of the gun batteries. As you can see, it's totally filled in with rubble. There's another. There's your third, and there's your fourth, and then here is the command post. So yeah, how exciting. But let's try and get and have a look at the first one. It's very slippery. Oh crap. As he literally slips while saying that. So yeah, unfortunately, that is totally infilled. Full of scrap. Now to say we've seen better gun batteries is an understatement really, but you know, it's still here. To be fair, this could just do with a bit of a clean up and it'll be pretty much sorted. But God blimey, that is perilous. Bear with everybody as I sink down. There we go. Right, let's try and head over to number 2, because that looks in way better condition. Oh dear. Yeah, this is it's one of them ones that, it's one of those ones that on Google Images looks way better than it does when you're actually on the ground. But we're not really. It's just one of these, I don't know, it's just one of these ones, isn't it? But oh, here we are, finally. And this is what we're talking about. That's good condition. That's better. So our little shell lockers. Oh, and let's try and get my torch. Yeah, look at that. Wow. So I think these were shelters for the soldiers stationed here. And Yeah, this is quite big actually, this is quite substantial. Obviously we've got the command post which we'll take a look at. That'll be interesting because when I walk past that, didn't look too hopeful of even getting in. However, we're in this one. Look at that blue. Can you see that lining between the different of the blue? That's brilliant. It's very dark in here. I was a bit deceived by the weather today. Wow. And we've got our shelf stores here. Very noisy above us. Wow. That doesn't encapsulate aerial aircraft. Jeez. Beautiful this one though, compared to the other one that we'd seen. And here we can see our little little pins for where they would have been positioned, the guns. You know what I mean? Can't think. Oh, this is nice. I've never seen this before. There's another one. That's rare. I've never seen two on one each. Oh look, and that's all the corrugated stuff. So I wonder if that's the actual corrugated sheeting that they probably would have used wherever, really, I suppose. Huh. That's pretty cool. Oh, there's always surprises. Always expect different things. Oh, look at that. Huh. Didn't even see that. There's some doors. And the blue paint matches with the blue that we saw inside the other one. There's no blue here, so I don't know what that's necessarily in conjunction with, but it's the same colour blue. How amazing. Your old school latches as well. How brilliant is that? Well, I'll be damned. Well, this one hasn't disappointed compared to the first one. I suppose what we now need to do is go to the command post, I think, and then we'll do the last two. Originally, like I said, there was more stuff on this site, but obviously time and everything else has gone. Obviously the farmer doing what he's doing. So yeah, let's explore the other bits and come on. Well, I wasn't expecting this. The command post is actually relatively easy to access. Didn't look it from where I was, but yeah, let's go and have a look inside. These are the steps. Oh, just got stung. Oh wow, the condition is really good. I was not expecting that. And what's great about it is that we can be able to walk right the way around without any disturbance. Reminds me of Woking's, or old Woking's command post. Wow, this is extensive. But then when you looked at the history lesson, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, if it's strategic importance, there's our steps. So it's exactly like the old Woking one. So if you've seen the old Woking heavy anti-aircraft battery or the command post for it, you'll know that this is going to look very familiar. This actual layout of this. Wow, very impressed. Right. Well, we'll take a look in here first. I'm amazed at what's left. There was just these tiny little bits of detail that are left within this. And you've got the farmer who's blocked that up for whatever reason. I actually don't understand why you blocked that one up and not the others as well. But, you know, was not to reason why. See, that's amazing. See, we're talking about detail. There's still some glass in those. Look at that. It's quite weird because I was sort of moaning about the condition of this place. And yet, now that I'm looking at it, it's a remarkable condition. Although, we haven't seen the other two guns yet. So we'll hold fast on that. Oh wow, look at this. Now that is impressive. Wow. Yeah, this is a proper extensive command post. I almost got caught in that spider's web, that was exciting. How amazing. How impressive is that? I'm really, I'm blown away by this actually. I wasn't expecting this. How amazing. Wow. It's got a very interesting atmosphere in this place. But maybe that's because I wasn't expecting it to have. I'm glad I brought my torch. Because it's relatively dark in here. So yeah, it was strange. I was driving up and I was hoping that the weather would sort of hold out, and it sort of has. But yeah, what a brilliant place to explore. Totally blown away, honestly. So obviously in here, this would have been really an operations room. So obviously it would have been utilising obviously where to fire the guns, etc., from the radar that they'd got. Just, you know, it had everything here. It wasn't a sort of, it was one of these sort of heavy anti-aircraft gun batteries that really, when you look at the scheme of things, was quite vital really, because of obviously its location in Suffolk. We obviously know that in Suffolk, if you know your World War II history, most of it was predominantly bomb squadrons of the American regiments. So, you know, we know all those types of things, don't we, and everything that goes along with it. But in this instance, this anti-aircraft battery, along with the rest of them that were scattered around here, would have been vital in the effort. See, look, even the railing's still here. I love that. Am I going to get stung again? Probably. Oh. And then as we look out, I mean, you've got to imagine really how noisy this would have been. I mean, we're just literally at the command post here. I think people seem to forget this, that the distance between these guns pointing out up to the sky and firing, it's quite a sort of, you know, when they were at full capacity, that would have been extremely loud and it would have echoed across. I mean, none of this landscape's really changed. I mean, it's just literally dotted with a few farms and everything else. When you walk over there in the distance, I think there's concrete pavement. We're not going to go to that because there's nothing there. However, I think that dates to the gun battery, and that was used for the men to stay over, like the quarters basically. But there's nothing there at all except for the path. I mean, obviously this is the original path as well. We neglect this when we're walking through it. You know, I mean, there's a lot still here. It's just a shame that where we started from, when we started at probably the worst one, but again, we still haven't checked out the other two yet, although they look alright. So out of the four, one is definitely extremely bad. Second one is probably the cleanest looking, maybe the other two that are left. And then the command post, which is deceptively in great condition. Just want to have a look one more time at this whilst we're here. I just have to keep sort of saying to myself, you know, there's not going to be many chances in my life that I'm going to ever get to do stuff like this. So there's our two exits there, to our left and to our right, or to our right and to our left, depending on what you're looking at. And it's in remarkable condition. There's the slats that we sort of saw for ventilation. You could see that obviously these windows would have been sealed up, or these stained windows. Well, you know, they are technically stained, aren't they? I suppose people could argue that, but they're extremely thick little blocks. Amazing. Right, well, let's carry on and look at the other two. Right, so quite interesting. Clearly people have been sort of trying to camp here or doing whatever. If you can see this, they've been getting some bricks and you can see they've all been sitting down, chilling out. Beautiful place to do it. Nowhere to park, and don't know what the landowner's like. It might even be the landowner who's been doing it, who knows. So this is number 3 battery that we're calling it. Doesn't really matter what order, does it really, but yeah, this one I'm not going to bother too much with this. I think it's safe to say that this has been used for the farmer's sort of rubbish tip again, much the same as the first one. I'm not going to bother crawling through all of that. There's literally no point. I think we've expected to see what we needed to see. I'm treading on all manner of things here. Let's try and get up here. Oh, there's a big old glass bottle there, shattered. That wasn't good. Yeah, look, there you go. Reminds me a lot of Blunston in terms of, if you've seen the Blunston one in near Swindon, the one that was used to protect Swindon, you'll know that that one was quite an interesting one in terms of, obviously that was one of a series of 4 to protect Swindon, and obviously with those there was lots of stinging nettles. And like, I think with anything, if you do find a heavy anti-aircraft battery that's still around roughly, to be fair, this condition of what we're looking at is pretty much going to be identical to what you're going to see with others, in terms of you're going to see each gun battery sort of in different condition. None of them are really going to be the same, I suppose, unless you argue about Slade Green, maybe another one that I did. But yeah, I mean, all of them are completely different. Even if you see a command post, I mean, even that's technically a rare thing, I suppose. I mean, Cobham, what was it, Great Farthing Low in Dover had one. Old Woking, interestingly, because those ones, the Mark 2s, I think, at Old Woking, for example, they were transportational ones. So in other words, they were fixed. They weren't fixed, so they could be easily transported away. So the only thing that was there was the command post. Again, look back at Old Woking, that was quite a good one, because the command post on that is practically identical to that one. Although most command posts are relatively the same, that one's probably the closest in terms of condition and identity. However, I'm talking too much, even though it's a history channel. And here we go. So this is our final one. Let's try and get round. We can get round this, can't we? Yeah, look at that. We'll have a look in this. I was actually glad I bought my torch. I mean, luckily I've not parked too far away, but it just makes life easier, doesn't it? So these are potentially our shell stores. Oh, now, will we find anything interesting in these? I'm assuming they're probably ammunition stores, or they might be crew shelters. Oh wow. Is that asbestos? I'll have a look. There's a door. Another one. It is asbestos. Lovely. And there's a toilet. Don't worry everybody, I'm aiming outwards as I'm breathing. That's a lot of asbestos. Great deterrent. Hopefully you can see all this. The toilet, seems to be a mirror. And yeah, all of that is asbestos on the floor. Disgusting. Well, you know, if you're going to dump it anywhere, dump it where not many people are going to go, I suppose, isn't it? Except for morons like me. Ooh. Right, shall we try and make it over to the other one? Yeah, I think we will. We'll go around the other way. I don't really want to. Yeah, it's just easier. I'm being lazy, everybody. Oh. Oh. Oh wow. Hopefully you can see that. Talk about... Oh wow, that's quite funny. Yeah. This has got troughs in it. They look like troughs or something. Bloody hell. Are they troughs? What the hell are they? Well, you know, it's used for storage, so you might as well use it for storage. Bloody hell. Wow. Impressive. Right. Well, we're done. That was nice, wasn't it? Nice little one for the channel. A heavy anti-aircraft battery that, strangely enough, is in better condition than I thought it would be, considering what I'd seen to begin with. And we're in Suffolk. Yeah, it's a good one, that. I like that. If I was ever in the area again, I'd totally visit this one. The command post is in exceptional condition. And even though the farmer's been using stuff, or the landowner has been using stuff for storage, which he's totally entitled to, it was interesting how every single one, again, it just proves the point of no two locations, even though labelled as the same, example heavy anti-aircraft batteries, are ever the same in condition or anything like that. And to think at one point in World War II and later on, potentially, because obviously this may have been used for Cold War, should it have arrived, that obviously in this instance, what a fascinating place. And I just want to show you this. Like I said, we're not going to go over to it, but where all of that mound is, beyond there, there's, if you Google map that, there's a nice bit of concrete flat sort of area, and I'm assuming that's where the soldiers would have been stationed, and obviously the radar and everything else that would have been here. Obviously the radar was mobile, so it wouldn't have been permanently fixed here. But as we walk, we can walk around, I reckon. Just sort of see this in context. Don't worry, I'm not getting shot at, although you can hear gunfire in the background. I think they're shooting pheasants or something's going on. Beautiful sun is desperately trying to come out through the clouds. Yeah, look at this. Look how well hidden this is. Even now. Beautiful, isn't it, how nature's slowly reclaiming this. Amazing, I love this. Oh. Strange, because I don't feel like I'm in Suffolk. It's the countryside isn't sort of anything less different than I'd expect being in Kent. So it's kind of a realisation that when I get into the car and I go on more of my journeys that I've got planned for today, I probably will notice it just a little bit more. But for now, I feel relatively at home. Anyway, in the immortal words of Phoenix history, thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you had a really nice time and enjoyed it. And yeah, that was a heavy anti-aircraft battery in Suffolk. One for the channel, we'll tick this off. And it was in quite good condition. Bonus. And the rain stopped and everything else went okay. Right, take care everybody, and I'll see y'all very soon. Goodbye for now. Kapow.